Hello everybody. Welcome to the Gravity Sketch Beginner Headphones Tutorials. In this series of tutorials, I'll take you through how to go from an empty room like this to a finalized product. To begin, I'll bring my controllers into view, and for all of you lefties out there, the very first thing we'll do is press the blue button in our left hand. We'll go down to Settings, and I'm using my right hand and the trigger to select the menu. Here, I can toggle on left hand, but I'm right-handed, so I'm not going to put it on. All right, to get rid of this menu, we can press the blue button again in our non-drawing hand. So for all of our righties, that'll stay in our left hand, but all of our lefties, that'll be in our right hand. So I'll press it off, and you'll notice I'm in this big old void. Well, the first thing I can do is make some geometry. So with your drawing hand, squeeze the trigger. You'll see that you have an ink tool come out, just like a pen. Now if you want to move around, you can either walk, or another option would be to use the grab buttons in both of your hands. Now you can rotate your hands relative to each other to move this geometry in any way you'd like. To edit the geometry, we can intersect this grab sphere with our geometry and press this grab button in our drawing hand. Now that we've grabbed it, we can press the blue button in our non-drawing hand. That'll bring up this menu. All of these are control points, but as you can see, that's quite a few. If I want to go back for what I just did, let's say for example I do this, and I don't like it, I can press the back button in my drawing hand. This is a lot of points, so a great feature of Gravity Sketch, right off the bat, is I can hit Simplify Points. That'll kind of approximate the line and keep the geometry relative to itself, but at the same time reducing the number of edit points that you have to go through yourself. Now let's say you don't like this background. One option that we have is we can press the blue button in our non-drawing hand, and we can come up from Settings and go to Workspace. Here, we can choose any type of setting or customize our own. I usually like these panels. I feel like I'm in a big studio, and using the trigger on my drawing hand, I can go around the color wheel to choose which I'd like. But for the sake of this tutorial, we're going to go to Custom 3 in an all-white room. Some other buttons that'll be useful are the color wheel on our drawing hand. If I grab again and I press the blue button to edit, the color wheel goes away. What happens here is that it's not actually in our edit, it's its own menu. So you can grab it and then push down on the button. Don't worry if you move it because it'll snap right back into place. So we can change this regarding the color, or if you push back or forth, you can adjust the saturation. I'll make it like a navy blue line, just like a pen. Right. So that concludes the beginning, and I hope you guys can get set up and figure out what kind of workspace is the best for you. Finally, to delete it, because we won't want this in our final sketch, we can grab it and press the delete button in our drawing hand. For our users looking for some type of scale or sense of relativity in this space, let's begin by starting with the world axis. To begin, I'll press the blue button in my non-drawing hand. And whatever tab I was in last, let's say I was in Save Last, that's what's going to show up when I press my blue button. So we're going to go to Settings and turn on World Axis. From here, I want to put a cube right in the middle of the scene. So I'm going to press the purple button on my non-drawing hand and bring up my tools. I'm going to go to Primitive Shapes, trigger Select with my drawing hand, and select the cube. Here I can create the cube with my two triggers. Let's just put one approximately right here. Another question we also get quite a bit is what about lighting? So to edit our lighting, we can press the blue button in our non-drawing hand. We can go to Workspace, and here we have a torch or flashlight, and we can grab it and shine it relative to our geometry. If I like this specific place, let's say we light it from the top or the side, we'll leave it at the side. What we can do is grab it using our grab sphere and just delete it. And that'll snap it back to this menu in the exact same orientation. Now here's something you might commonly find in Gravity Sketch is just a stroke, just a random thing that you left because you accidentally pressed a trigger, particularly in the beginning. All you have to do is use your grab sphere and delete it. The same can be applied to the cube. You can grab it and delete it, or if you didn't want to do that, you can press back on the red button, or on your non-drawing hand, you can rotate the history clock. Unlike traditional CAD, Gravity Sketch makes creating geometry fun and interactive, especially in relationship to other models to consider human factors, scale, and 3D form. To illustrate this, we'll create a rough sketch of our headphones on a mannequin head prior to creating our final geometry. To begin, I'll press the blue button in my non-drawing hand. I'll go to Prefabs and click Face. From here, I'll go to Settings, turn on Mirror, and Vertical Lock. The vertical lock prevents wobbling. From here, I can press the purple button in my non-drawing hand, and I can go to Ink or Stroke to create kind of a pencil or a pen. The ink has tapered ends, and the stroke is solid. So, we'll go to the ink, and we can use this border and grab it to bring it into our scene. So I can grab it and press Simplify Points. Again, if it's too much, you can press back. And you can move this by using Smart Move. So, to show this, what we can do is press the blue button in our non-drawing hand, go to Settings, and turn on Smart Move. For now, we just want X, Y, Z axis, because we only want to move in specific directions relative to these axes right here. So, in order to move this, I'm going to intersect the grab sphere with my right hand, my drawing hand, and stack my non-drawing hand above or below. You'll see the color of the axis appear, and you can move along it by grabbing your dominant hand, keeping your hand stacked. If you see these arrows move away, it's because you're off axis. So now that we've moved it, we can draw another line, and to create the headband at the top, you can do this, and delete the skinny parts at the end. We can press with our trigger near the line to create a new edit point. And bring these two edit points together in the middle. Those will mirror them and create a seamless piece of geometry. From here, we can meet these up and deleting as we go as well by grabbing and pressing the delete button in our drawing hand. From here, we can do the same thing as we did Unlike traditional CAD, Gravity Sketch them and create a seamless piece of geometry. From here, we can meet these up and deleting as we go as well by grabbing and pressing the delete button in our drawing hand. From here, we can do the same thing as we did before, but instead of just moving it, we can grab it and press the trigger in our drawing hands. That will enable us to duplicate along an axis. Last thing is if you draw a cable right? They're not on both sides. So what you can do is press bake mirrored, and that will cancel the mirrored aspect of the geometry. A seamless piece of geometry. From here, we can do the same thing as we did. That will enable us to duplicate along an axis. The last thing is if you draw a cable, right? They're not on both sides. So what you can do is press bake mirrored, same thing as we did before, but instead of just moving it, we can grab it and press the trigger in our drawing along an axis. The last thing is if you draw a cable, right? They're not on both sides. So what you can do is press bake mirrored, and that will cancel the mirrored aspect of the geometry. Here, I'm going to go in and delete all these extra points. I'll press simplify points. Have this kind of fun, squirrely cable, and then bring it up here. So that's how you create a rough sketch. And in the next part, we'll begin by filling out the geometry.